Hi, how we empower your special child to blossom. So my life took a different turn when I discovered that two of my children have special needs. My eldest child lost his language at 2.5, and he was unable to recognize people expression or emotion, and he was unable to do simple things in daily life when he previously can. My second child was diagnosed with severe autism, and his IQ was less than 30. It was very devastating, and I finally decided that instead of wallowing in my depression, I I stopped working from hospital, and I started to go around the world to look for an answer. I learned from many different people on how I can help my children with special needs. The journey took 10 years over 3 continents, and I finally found the answer on how I can help my children. And this is me being interviewed in Japan and regarding on how we can help our special needs with love. I want to show you this video. This is a very special video that can show you how actually children with autism spectrum disorder feel in the normal day-to-day situation when they go outside in the public area. Things that you normally experience is very different from sense of being in a space, sound, the effect of seemingly normal how they see people, their smell can be very overwhelming.
6, 7, 8, 9. Take my hand.
Look at the judgment that people throw at you.
It's fine, isn't it? It's fine. I'm not naughty. I'm autistic. And I just get too much information.
So he is not naughty, but that's what people think when they see a child or an individual shows this kind of behavior. So this is just one situation, but there's also something that is very important that we need to understand, that there is seizure activities found in 30% of children with special needs across the board, not just with autistic individuals. And seizure can be triggered by inflammation. So inflammation in other parts of the body can cause inflammation in the brain, and inflammation in the brain can cause seizure. This is a data that actually taken from CDC from US. It shows that children with developmental abilities are more likely to have asthma, skin allergies, food allergies, severe headache, chronic diarrhea, or colitis. And these are the clue that actually we can help these children. Because by bringing down the inflammation in their brain, we can actually help them in a great way. Children with special needs will have one or more areas in the brain affected. So for instance, when the child has affection in the temporal lobe, then their hearing comprehension will be affected. If the child has issues in the sensory cortex of the brain, then the pain, heat, their touch are all affected. And you can say that they have issues with their sensory integration. If they have issues in the frontal lobe of their brain, then a lot of things are affected. The judgment, the foresight, voluntary movement, the way they think, the way they piece together information are all affected. So we need to understand how we can help by actually having the knowledge on what are the things that's affected in their brain. But before we move forward, I want to show you this functional metrics. This is a very, very great tool for me in order for me to help parents and children with special needs. Okay, so the body has a lot of function. They do assimilation, they do defense and repair the immune system, the energy level, the detoxification, communication between the cells in the body, and transport system, how the blood goes from the heart to other parts of the body, the structural integrity. But all these are pertaining to their health. But the thing is that what is most important that controls them all is the mental, emotional, spiritual part of the child. And on top of that, there are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 modifiable factors that can actually help you to help them to gain better function of all these functions that I explained earlier. So sleep and relaxation, exercise and movement, nutrition and hydration, stress and resilience, and relationships are the things that we can change in our daily life. So if we can help them to sleep better, have exercises, we can actually help better. Because if the child sleep better, their brain health will get better. When the child exercise, there are more oxygen that is going to be going to the brain. And nutrition and hydration is so important because by the right nutrition, we can actually help the brain to heal. And I'm going to talk a lot more about the stress and resilience and relationship. Why? Okay, so before I move on, I will tell you a little bit about this because this is something that we often neglect. Food can actually be a healer and can be something that make the child situation worse. So all these food are the food that I will not recommend you to give to your children. So take away all this food because this food actually cause more inflammation for your child. So gluten, food additive, sweet beverage, processed meat, dairy product, sugar, processed carbohydrate, and GMO food are proven to cause inflammation in anyone, not just children with special needs. But children with special needs are more susceptible. So it's important to remove all these things from their food. Okay, so now we are going to talk to like a very big portion of our talk today, stress. Okay, when we see the child having behavioral issue or movement issue or perception issue or sensory issue. But what is the real condition? There's a lot of things going on in the child. It could be negative emotion. It could be gut inflammation. It could be their brain inflammation. Could be brain affection or brain injury. What are the situations that happens in the house? Usually the parents with children with special needs. Not all of you, but I believe that some of you might have been pressurized. I had that feeling too. I had that experience too. In the beginning of my journey, I felt that people was pointing finger at me. They were saying that I'm the cause of my children's special need. And I even had people came to me and said during the time that I was pregnant with my number 3, and people came to me and say that how could you be pregnant again? Are you going to bring another child that is going to burden the society? So I believe that all of you have your stories, but parents feel pressurized. They got scared because they don't know what's going to happen to their child. They got confused. There are so many things out there, but they don't know which are the things that can help them. They start blaming themselves and they got lost. And all this negative emotion actually is felt by the child. And the child will start feeling that they are worthless, they are unloved, they feel victimized, they feel that they are not being understood. They always feel that they're always being corrected, even though the parents wanted them to being able to be independent or be in a better place. But a lot of times, all this correction make them feel that they are always wrong, always corrected. They also felt left behind, maybe with their peers, maybe with their family members, with the people around them. They feel blamed. And all these things are bringing us to the stress, and the stress causes more inflammation. And one thing that our brain has is this organ called amygdala. This amygdala is situated here below the thalamus. And what happens is that it can actually pick up negative emotion like fear and feed it to the brain and actually cause more brain damage. So there must be a shift. The parents must learn to discard their fear. Why? Because all the fear and anxiety are feeding the children with negative emotion. And negative emotion will not help them in their journey being special. You need to move to love-based mindset. And what is love-based mindset? Is that only when the children feel love, then they will learn to trust. Trust is very important in learning. How to let the child blossom is to let them to have a trustworthy relationship. Okay, so these are the principles of love-based mindset. I call it the ABC of love-based mindset. A is acceptance. Why there is an importance in acceptance? When the child is diagnosed, usually the parents will feel like there is a big burden in their heart. Or sometimes the parents will have denial that their child have needs that's different from normal kids. When they need to really accept that their child is different, it is not to say that their child is something that they take as a punishment. They need to start accepting that no matter what happened, that child is theirs. One time, actually, I had the experience of my child found outside of the building. So he was hanging 8th floor high above the ground outside the grill. And it was such a scary moment. Thank God we were able to catch him in time and bring him back into the house. But that moment actually gave me the understanding that I would rather have my child with all his needs and with all his handicaps rather than not having him at all. So acceptance is so important. Once actually I had that acceptance, I was able to see him as he is. I was able to accept him with all his differences. So when the parents change, the child will change. The B is seek to bond. Parents need to actively bond with their child. Why? Because true bonding happens when both parties truly enjoy each other, and when there is bonding, the child is more likely willing to let you take their hand and show them the world. The C in love-based mindset is celebrate. Why we need to celebrate them? A lot of times we need to come to a point whereby a child achieves something before we celebrate them. This is not the right attitude because the child will often feel that they are not going to be able to reach a certain things, like being able to speak a word or speak the whole sentence or being able to achieve a certain milestones. But if we celebrate them in every effort that they give, we are going to give them more confidence. The acknowledgement of parents or loved ones is the biggest reward for a child. So a lot of the therapists out there are using reward system for the children. But actually reward system is not something that I would recommend. We need to show love toward these children to make them feel that they are loved, that they are able to do things, and they are actually do not need to perform to receive their parents' love. So the principles in love-based mindset is acceptance, seek to bond and celebrate, and how we can actually build that relationship. The biggest clue is to look at a traffic light. Okay, traffic light has the red and the green. The red man and the green man. When you see the red man, what we do? We stop. Okay, so the same thing. When the child is not paying attention to you or the surroundings, please give the child time. Stop. We do not disturb them during this time. When the child is ready for us, when how we know that they are ready, when they're looking at us, when they smile at us, when they start talking to us or started to show effort to connect with us, then this is the green light. We need to understand that children with special needs need time to comprehend, to process information, process the sensation. So we need to give them time. More often than not, we take the child during the red light to do an activity. And this can backfire because the child will feel that you do not understand them. You need to understand this very simple principle in order to build relationship, not just with your special child. You can even use this principle to your normal children or people around you. So be aware whether this is a good time or not a good time to connect with your child. Then this is the complement of the ABC of the love-based mindset. So these are what unconditional love is. Acceptance is about giving the child unconditional love. It's about being selfless without expectation. There is no judgment, no negative judgment in everything that the child does. Because we need to understand that our children are smart. They are in their handicap, they are able to figure out things that can help to protect themselves from the world. We need to understand and respect it. Unconditional love is already whole and complete. It means that your child does not need to do anything extra to gain your love. And your child should not be afraid of doing something that lost your love. Unconditional love does not worry. Because you remember, worry and anxiety will actually bring the child to have negative emotion, which actually can further damage their brain. Unconditional love needs nothing, and it's secure within itself. This is something that we need to aim to have in order to be someone who can elevate your child into someone who can blossom despite of the situation. So again, sleep and relaxation, exercise and movement, nutrition and hydration, ability to take in stress and resilience, having relationship with you, with the parents, are the things that can really propel the child to the next level. This is a patient that I met in Mexico, and the mother does all these things correctly. He was born with microcephaly. He was 5 years old when he started doing the right kind of treatment. And during that time, he was mentally retarded. He was unable to walk. He had no speech. And during the time of 9 years, the mother did the best that she could. And he is now a 14-year-old, and he is a normal teenager. So there is hope for every one of our special needs children. And we want them to live life without limits. Remember that love grows brain. This is my second child. At 9 years old, he started speaking. And this is something that people say was impossible, but he made it possible. And this is my first child. He is now completely integrated into the society. And this is his message.
Love is always the answer.
Yeah, love is always the answer. Thank you so much.